Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. To the Minister for Social Development and Employment, what reports has she received on long-term welfare dependency?
Honourable Paula Bennett.
I've seen research showing the longer you've spent on a benefit, the harder it is to get off welfare. One report I've seen shows a third of those currently on the DPB became parents in their teenage years. And of those teenagers on the DPB, if they're under 18, they are 35% more likely to be on in 10 years' time. This is a particular group that we are focused on and wanting to help them and help them getting off that long-term welfare dependency.
Hekia Parata.
Supplementary to the Minister, how many beneficiaries might be considered at risk of long-term dependency on welfare?
Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, of those who currently receive a benefit, over one-third have been on welfare for more than 3 years. That's around 117,880 people, or about 34% of those that are on. Of those on supposedly short-term temporary benefits, the unemployment and sickness, there are 29,580 receiving the sickness benefit for more than a year and over 12,000 on the unemployment benefit for more than a year.
Carmel, Sepuloni.
What reports has the Minister read that have caused her to change her mind about a woman's right to choice? As stated in her maiden speech, quote, "I advocate for choice, for women to work part-time or full-time in paid work or not at all, or to stay home and raise their children," end quote.
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Yeah, Mr Speaker, I certainly do, and I see that need for parents to actually be moving ahead for themselves for the benefit of their children, and that's what's really most important. So I certainly do advocate choice for those who can have it, but there's an obligation as well for them to be getting ahead themselves and then actually making that for their children.
Hekia Parata. Point of order, Carmel Sepuloni.
Mr Speaker, I asked what reports has she read with regards to changing her mind about whether or not women should stay home and raise their children or go out and work. I didn't hear whether or not she actually referred to any reports.
Order. The difficulty I have is in understanding exactly what the member is asking, that normally members don't read reports about why they changed their mind. It's something they know themselves, and that's why it's difficult for me to say to the Minister, I expect you to give a more clear answer to the House, when it's difficult to see exactly what the member was after there. Hekia Parata.
Supplementary to the Minister, how does the Minister expect future focus to improve outcomes for beneficiaries?
Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, despite labour shortages, the culture of welfare dependency grew on Labour's watch. So from 2000 to 2008... No, let's actually... I'll give you the numbers.
Order. I assume the member is seeking my intervention about that just barrage of interjection. That is unacceptable. The members may not like the Minister's answer, but the Minister is entitled to answer the question as she sees fit, and if members don't like it, they can ask supplementary questions, but they cannot just shout like that. The Honourable Order. Did I hear someone say lies are okay?
No, it was a rhetorical question.
Well, we won't have that kind of interjection. The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, to give the details on that, from 2000 to 2008, sickness benefit numbers doubled, up 17,000. So to give you the actual numbers on that, 33,560 people were on the sickness benefit in the year 2000. 50,896,000 were on the sickness benefit in 2008, and that's just one example.
Carmel Sepuloni.
If the Minister is serious about supporting women into paid employment, why then did she ignore the Phase 1 and Phase 2 evaluation of the Training Incentive Allowance reports, which highlight the role of the Training Incentive Allowance in reducing the time spent on benefits and increasing the amount of time spent in paid employment?
Mr Speaker, actually what we have done with the Future Focus is actually exempt those who have children over the age of 6 that are in tertiary study, in recognition that actually tertiary study can work for some of those on on the DPB. We've also introduced other pathways for them to gain those skills and to actually get the training that they need, and that's something that quite frankly makes sense and something I'm proud to deliver.
That was a very interesting piece of information that the Minister just gave the House. It may be what the Minister wanted to provide by way of answer, but I'm not sure it actually is exactly what an answer to the question that was asked. Now, I didn't support Carmel Sepuloni when she previously appealed that her question hadn't been answered. I'll invite her to ask a supplementary question again without the first bit about how can some minister be taken seriously or something. That will be excluded from this repeat of the supplementary. It'll be a straightforward, objective question if she wants an answer.
Why did she ignore the Phase 1 and Phase 2 evaluation of the training incentive allowance reports, which highlight the role of the training incentive allowance in reducing the time spent on benefits and increasing the amount of time spent in paid employment?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I didn't, but as I said, when we looked at tertiary study for those on the DPB, we recognise that they should be exempt if they are in study while their children are over 6 years old. That's a decision this government made, and it's certainly one that I'm proud to represent. There is many opportunities for those on the DPB to get the training, to get that education that they need to move off long-term welfare dependency.
Question number 8, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
My question is to the Minister of Education.